Hello everybody and welcome back to the garden. Guess what? It's end of April almost and we didn't have a garden tour for April. So let's go. I think that's the best place to start, at the front garden. Welcome to my Bluebells Valley. As you can see, the lovely bluebells are in full swing. They are all over the front garden. The roses are doing very well. They're getting ready to flower as well. There are buds all over the plant, everywhere, on all the roses really. Some of them are already trying to open, so that's going to be a nice show in a few weeks. The only thing that needs urgent attention here in the front garden is that monster honeysuckle. It's getting out of hand completely. That's due a heavy trim. My black bamboo is still sleeping after the winter. Can't see any new shoots, but that's a very tough plant. It's gonna wake up soon. I wanted to show you my apricot seedling. At least I think it's an apricot, I don't remember. Might be a plum. It's a 3-year-old seedling, doing very well. And I don't know if any of you saw my wisteria pruning video. I might put a link to the video here. That worked a treat. First time in, must be like 5-6 years, I'm getting proper flowers on my wisteria. They're just starting to open, but there are flower clusters all over the plant. If you haven't seen the video, I pruned the wisteria very heavy, leaving the main stems and 3 laterals going left, right and center over the driveways, and everywhere there are flower clusters. That's gonna look lovely very soon. There are more bluebells everywhere. My pink camellia finished flowering. That was first year it was flowering, but there's no more flowers anymore. More roses getting ready to flower. I might put a link to my rose pruning video as well. As you can see, it is working very well. Getting buds everywhere. There's a bit of aphids on the roses, as there always are early spring, but that's not gonna last long. Soon the ladybird is gonna move in. Let's have a look at the first Acer. It is growing lovely. It's a very nice whipping Acer. I do like the fresh green color on them, especially now in the afternoon sun. And just underneath we have self-seeded garden. In one of the previous videos I was saying I'm gonna remove most of those plants, especially the wild strawberries, but I couldn't force myself to do it. They are covered with flowers, so I'm gonna wait for the fruits, and maybe after that I might transplant them somewhere else. But as a ground cover plant, I would highly recommend wild strawberries. They are covering everything, nothing grows through them. and on top of that you're getting lovely fruits from them as well. I'm also getting lots of digitalis foxgloves, self-seeded in a gravel. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do with them. I might let them grow. That might look nice actually. It's gonna restrict the pathway to the house a bit, but that might be worth it. Otherwise I can transplant them somewhere else in the garden. This is self-seeded calendula, giving lovely splash of orange. We'll get to the koi ponds in a moment, but let's continue down the path. Finally, I'm getting flowers on my lilac. It smells lovely every time I'm going back to the house. That was pruned very, very heavy last year. No, I'm lying, 2 years ago. So that's the second year after the pruning. I have to wait for the flowers. And this one is my dragon or voodoo lily. Stay tuned. In another month it should flower. It's a spectacular plant. For now we can just see the stems. I don't know where that came from. I didn't plant it. Might have self-seeded somehow. Maybe some birds brought the seeds. I have one more in the main garden, much smaller, so I'm assuming the birds are spreading the seeds. But let's wait for the flower, then it's going to be a proper show off. My shady corner pond area is doing very well. Those are just box standard white daisies. Just another month probably for them to flower. Some of the ferns and bluebells are mixing nicely. The daylilies are getting there as well, but that's another month probably for them to flower. And wild strawberries spreading everywhere, which is good. They're covering all the open ground. This bunch here is my Colchosmia. That's gonna flower late summer, if I remember correctly. It's a lovely red color. And the bearded irises are in full bloom. I have much more of them in the main garden, but they give a nice splash of purple. Here is my second whipping Aesop tree, similar to the previous one. Slightly different color. I think this one is more green compared to that one over there. This is more yellowy orange, but they both look stunning here. Oh, while we are here, that's my pear tree that got huge pruning in the winter, but it worked a treat. It always does. It's covered with fruits everywhere. So that's just a reminder, it's worth pruning your fruit trees. And wisteria, as we saw. Let's move to the koi ponds. The fishes look happy enough. That's the top pond with the smaller fishes. And here we have the main pond with the waterfall. They are doing well, they're waiting for their food. I topped up the water yesterday. I think they're all gonna come now, since they saw me. Yeah, as I was saying, I topped up the water yesterday. We are getting very hot weather last few days, so they needed a bit of a top up, so it's still a bit murky. There's some water irises and hostas over there. I think the bushes need a bit of a prune, they're getting overgrown. Some more lilac here in a corner. I do love the smell of lilac. So this is the top garden, the front garden. There are bunches more of daylilies here just by the entrance, and Cocosmia in a corner. This one is not doing that well. It's a very dry and shady corner, but it's surviving. Still giving few flowers every now and again. So this is entrance to the garden. Let's move to the main garden now. And here we are in the main garden. That's the entrance to the house. Let me just show you that some oregano and thyme and struggling chives. I'm waiting for the flowers to collect some seeds. I need to spread it more in the garden. That's the only plant I have. My espalier pear is doing fantastic this year. I am planning to make one more level on the top, and that's gonna be it for the tree. I'm not gonna let it grow any taller than that. But as you can see, there should be quite a bit of fruit on it this year. St. John's wort is doing quite alright. It's growing like crazy every year. After the flowering in the summer, I'm gonna give it nice, good trim to keep it in check. Last week I pruned the hedges on this side of the house, so that looks much neater and smarter. If anyone can tell me how this plant is called, I would be grateful. Thick leathery leaves, like a succulent type plant, but it's getting covered with these lovely yellow flowers. Soon enough this whole lower part of the hedge gonna be golden yellow. There's more Cocosmia, mint, lemon balm in the hedge. That's a nice apple mint, if I remember correctly. It's really nice for cocktails. Here in the garden we have our first wine barrel, whiskey barrel pond. The lily is doing quite well. You can see all the new fresh leaves, and in the center down there there's a first flower bud coming. Actually two of them I can see. I think all of the plants from the conservatory are now outside. That's my biggest clump of amaryllis, starting to grow the first flower buds. All the citrus, tea, all the other citrus seedlings. It's a small New Zealand fern. Those brown are the leaves from last year that survived the winter. But we are getting all the fresh growth already. I think it looks lovely when it's unfurling. Here is my seedling section. Those are the sunflowers. and some hardly surviving marigolds. I should still get some. Those are the 3 big citrus trees. Not quite sure what they are. I think they are lemon, but they do have large spikes on them, growing well now in the spring. Here is my main New Zealand fern, same like with the small one. All those are the old leaves, getting a bit yellow after the winter. But there in the center we have the first leaf unfurling for this year. The blueberries are in full flower, so that should give me some nice fruits. Yesterday I saw some activity at the entrance of my spare beehive, but I can't see anything today. I was hoping for a swarm to move in. There's still time this season. And that's the main flower area. The kiwi plant is in full swing. I never get any fruits out of it. It's too cold and dark in this corner, but at least it's a nice cover for the workshop. More bluebells everywhere. Roses are waking up, and there's much more irises in that corner. The primroses are still going, although it's way past their best, but they're still trying. The Buddha corner is looking nice with all the bluebells. All the other spring bulb finished, but the daylilies are still growing. And Cocosmia over there in that corner, so that should give nice flash of color. And also I left most of the poppy seedlings, so they should be nice splash of color later on when they grow. And like with everywhere, there's calendula seedlings all over the place. The tulips weren't that good this year. I think I have only 3 yellow tulips out of probably 20 or 30 I planted 4 or 5 years ago. Same with the red ones. But the roses are doing well. You can see the flower buds on all of them. This clump here is the elephant garlic. I planted 1 clove a couple of years ago. I must have 4 or 5 clumps like that. It just spreads and multiplies. Sorry for that. That was another noisy RAF plane. I had to stop the video because I think I was talking about my clumps of elephant garlic. There's 1, 2, probably 5 or 6 all over the area. I've planted 1 clove 3 or 4 years ago. They all grow and multiply, and in the middle of summer they give lovely flower display. And we have some peonies starting to grow. There's 1 here, 1 under the rose over there, and there's another one here. The lavender bush is doing well after its pruning. the iris border. Let me go from the other side for the better light. The iris border is looking stunning this time of the year. While we are here, that's another tree seedling. That's another plum or apricot. I think that one is actually a plum. This one is a year older than the one at the garage, but it's growing much quicker as well. And that's my jasmine and rose arch. It's doing well. I need to tie up all these loose rose branches back on top of the arch. I think I need to split this video in two because it's gonna be way too long, so we can stop here, I think. So that's the flower part of my garden done. So I think that's gonna be all for today. I'm gonna split the tour video into two parts, one today and one in a few days. Hope you're gonna join me and see the part 2. It's gonna be veggie area and soft fruit area, and I'll meet you back in the garden for part 2. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you back very soon. Bye.